Talk to your face. Oh, thank you for waiting to record that. um,
Okay.
I'm going to talk about something. I'm actually reading this book. It's called 10x is easier than 2x, and it's the big brother of the book Gap in the Gain. And I'm reading this book, and it is taking me way back because it's talking about these big jumps you make in your business. And when you start seeing momentum in your business and things are happening, and all of a sudden things are happening, you're like, I don't really know like how that just happened, but it's fun, right? So it took me back to way back when we were earning silver stars, we were developing, I mean, I think we had almost 13, 14 silvers when we earned silver stars in my levels 1 through 3. And that was not abnormal for us to have that many silvers. And so it took me back and I was like, okay. And then Andrea asked if I would talk about leading with the business. I was like, this is perfect. So now it's all like fresh on my mind. Um, I want to ask y'all really quick though, do you feel like you send messages to people for the business often? If you had to put a percentage to it, this is how many I send for products, this is how many I start for business. What would your percentage for business be like 2%, like 50%? What are y'all's? I want to see in the chat if y'all don't mind, so I can get an idea of where y'all are at. 10%? Cool. 10, 25. Okay. Okay, good, Celeste. All right, so tell me this. I have a question I would love for y'all to just like, can we just talk for a second? If you are doing it less than 50% of your messages, tell me why. Why are you not sending messages for the business? Allison, can you unmute and tell me about that? Do you mind? What are you
Yeah,
afraid
I
of?
think I just fear that people don't want it, and if I lead with that, then I'll like scare them away.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I think it's just all about and like what will people think of me, which has gotten less. Like I care a lot less about that than when I started 3.5 years ago, but um, just more so like if I ask somebody about like wanting to do the business, they're gonna just come back at me with MLM craziness and stuff like that. So
Have you
just
gotten
more
that
so worried
before?
about what their response would be.
Have you gotten that before? Someone saying something like that?
Yeah, I have. I have. And
Okay.
like even in person, like
Yeah.
people just like saying things to me. Um, and I'm like a huge my personality is like very much aware and concerned with what people think of me. And
Hmm.
it's definitely gotten better, but definitely a fear of mine.
Okay. So tell me this. Why do you love your business?
I think it's fun. I'm a nurse, and so talking health and helping people feel their best is like a passion of mine since I was young.
Hmm?
Um, and I think doing this business and like being a part of this community is like a huge reason of like why I keep doing it. It just gives me another purpose other than being a mom. Um, and yeah, I love the products. So I think that's another huge reason why I want to share because the products work for me and I know they work for other people too.
Yeah. So if the products work for you and you know other people do, and you feel comfortable and excited sharing those, does the business work for you?
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Why do you not feel comfortable and excited sharing the business? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know. And I think like money is a big part of it too. Like I have this like weird thing about like talking about money and like obviously everybody wants money, everybody needs money, everybody makes money. So why
Yep.
not? Yeah, like why not talk about it? But it's just like there's just like a roadblock there because
Okay,
it's like unconventional.
let me show you something really quick. Okay. This is actually an emerald, but we're gonna pretend like it's a brick. So this is a brick. Okay. And this brick can be used to build a church. It can be used to build a home. It can be used for many different reasons. But it can also be used to throw it through a car window and steal everything inside. This brick has absolutely no value. Like it is only a tool, and that is it. So it is only has the value place upon it. And so when you are worried about talking about money, I want you to think about money literally is an inanimate object. It literally has no feelings, it has nothing. The only thing that it has is the meaning that you place upon it. And so I remember Jessica Heffley telling me, hey, you can either put money in the hands of people who are going to do really good things with it, and you talk about money and you make it not awkward, even though you grew up in the church and they told you not to talk about money. We're going to talk about money. And she was like, so you get to decide what it means about you. And so anyway, I was just about to say that, Andrea, if you can find that podcast and drop it, if not, you can remind me and I'll find it. But that's a really good point. Thank you, Allison. I know that was like not what you signed up for today, but you're not the only one who's nervous to talk about money. You're not the only one who is nervous to talk about the business. But if you guys want a team full of people that want to take products, then continue sharing and leading with products. If you want a team full of people who want to make an income, who want to be a part of you, who want to travel with you, who actually want to do this business, you have to share about the business. You must share about it. It is like a necessity. Um, and I think all of you want freedom in your business. You all want to be able to go on vacation and step away from your phone for a week and your business grow, right? Like that's the dream. You have to share about the business if you want that. We're going to talk about how to do it tonight, a little bit more about the strategy. The mindset behind it is also really important. We're going to talk about some strategy. I'm going to take y'all back to 2017 when I started. And I remember one of my very first customers was my cousin. And I got on she said, hey, I'm interested in your products. And I said, okay, cool. I'll call you at lunch. Like I was working full time. I didn't have time to sit there and go back and forth. I said, I'll call you at lunch. And she said, okay, cool. I'm at lunch at 12. Great. Called her. And I remember her saying, hey, well, I really don't think I have the money. And I said, hey, I didn't either. Why don't you let me help you get your products paid for like I did? And she said, sure. Do y'all see how organic that was to talk about the business? That was not weird. That was not salesy. In fact, that was me helping her. That was me saying, hey, I couldn't either. Let me help you get your products paid for. And she could say no, sure, but that was me offering something that could help her, right? That wasn't me being like me focused. I need to build my business. I need her to do it. No, like I'm literally offering a service to her. So I helped her go silver, y'all. And she actually, we didn't have senior silver back then, but she went close to senior silver. And she didn't want a business. She just wanted her products paid for, right? And so I think that's step one is really just being comfortable with introducing the business to people. Now, how many of y'all post about the business often? Do you post about the income? Do you post about the blessings? Do you post about the problems this solves for you? Do you post the income chart? Do you post the Lexus? Are you posting about trips that you can earn, trips that your upline's earning that you have a vision to earn? Do you post about the business? And I am not talking about once or twice a month. I am talking about 2, 3, 4 times a week. What if you posted about the business 2, 3, 4 times a week? Do you think that the person that is struggling with their finances, or the person like me who wanted to be at home with her kids desperately, is going to see that? Like, I'm not posting. I do not post to like check a box. I post to the girl who is in corporate America who wants to get out because they do not like their work environment. I post to the girl who has kids, who wants to work hard, but also wants time with their kids. Like, I am posting to that girl. And I am doing it shamelessly because I know that what I have can help them, because it has wildly changed the trajectory of my life. And I share it very boldly because I love this business. Probably, I mean, I love our products, but like this business has changed our life. And I will share it so boldly. So, and if you don't feel, if you're like, oh, wow, she's got a lot of passion. If you don't feel like you have that passion, then you got to go build your belief or siphon it off of your sponsor or go watch Diamond Dogs all the time. You know, I used to have a TV tray that I worked from. I didn't have a computer until after we went diamond. So if you sit looking here, you're like, I don't have the tools. I don't care if you don't think you have the tools. Yes, you do. You're fine. If you have a phone, you have plenty, you have all that you need. So I had a phone, I had my notebook, and I had my AirPods, and or not my AirPods. I had the one with the string because we were old school and cheap in 2017. Anyway, I would sit there and I would listen to Diamond Dogs and I would send messages. And that's how I started. So how many of y'all feel like you're posting about the business in the chat? I didn't see. Raise your hand. You're like, if you're like, I really feel like I post about the business really consistently. Okay, raise your hand if you want to get better at posting about the business. Yes. Okay, great. A couple of things that really help me with posting about the business are this. I am constantly sharing business wins like they are Christmas morning. Like, I don't care if you're making $100 or $30,000 in a month. I don't care because I remember that $100 paycheck coming in thinking, okay, we don't have to eat ramen at the end of the month. I am pumped. I remember my sponsor sending me an anthropology coffee cup and being like, oh my gosh, this is my first like bougie anthropology thing. Like I was so excited and I posted with that same energy. And I remember when we went on our first trip, and y'all don't just talk about the trip you go on one time. Use it over and over and over and over again. I just posted about our Lexus that we got like 6 months ago, and I had so many people commenting. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, guess I need to be posting about this more, right? And you don't have to have a Lexus to do it. And so tell me, I want y'all to just write on paper, if you will, three things this business has solved for you, three problems this business has solved for you. That could look like maybe you work full time and Plexus isn't your full time job. Maybe it's like, hey, this gives me something to look forward to in the evenings after a really stressful day at work. Maybe you've gained a friend. You know, maybe it's a friendship thing. Maybe you go get pedicures now and you don't feel guilty taking money out of your family bank account. What three problems has this solved for you? Does somebody want to share one? Brianna, share one for me.
Well, I was able to go part-time from the classroom and not have to work full-time, and I can pick my kids up from school. I can be the mom in the classroom for the parties instead of being the teacher. I can buy bras for myself without feeling guilty and getting my hair
Yes,
done. I
I
mean,
love that.
on and on and on.
That's perfect. And y'all, facts tell, stories tell. So you can go talk about the income chart all day long, but if you don't include something like, I love being the one to pick up my kids from school every day, that is a priceless gift that this business has given me. The story is what people will connect with. And so that was actually one of my points, which I'm glad you brought that up. You know, you got to share stories. You got to share more instances about how this is helping you. I remember making a post one time that um one of my favorite parts about this business was that I didn't have to be on somebody else's dress code because I remembered being sent home by my boss who didn't like that I was wearing jeans and it wasn't a Friday and she told me to go home and change my pants and I was ticked because I didn't have any clean laundry. And so, y'all, that was one of the reasons that may not resonate with you, but the girl who hates being told what to wear at work is going to be like, oh yes, I hate that too. I need to do what she's doing. Okay. So the stories really do matter. So I want to encourage y'all to share more instances. I love starting posts with I remember when, and then sharing a story of instance of, before Plexus and then what's changed after. So posting more about the business is a necessity. Are y'all excited to go post more about the business this week and next week and the coming weeks? I was posting about the Lexus that I was getting when I was gold. I didn't have Alexis then, it wasn't even close. But people thought I was close because I was posting like I was diamond at that time because I knew where I was going. And I knew that I wasn't going to quit till I get there. Yes. And so that the mindset part of this of knowing where you're going, being confident enough to share it with people because you know you're in for the long haul, that is a huge part of my confidence or that where it comes from. Okay, so let's talk about messaging for the business. I love messaging for the business. In fact, I find it easier to message people for the business than I do for the products because here's why. I can go to Andrew and be like, "Hey, I saw that you're wait, have you announced?" Okay. I was about to say, "Oh my gosh." Hey, I saw that you were pregnant. Have you thought about trying Plexus? Like a ton of my friends are really seeing a lot of changes postpartum and blah blah blah. Like that's cool, but then she's gonna be like, well, I actually have stuff. Thanks for waiting till I was pregnant to message me, like jerk. I don't know. I just feel like that is not the most organic way to message somebody. But I could go to her and be like, hey, Andrea, listen. I don't know if you need this. I have no idea what your situation is at home, but I know that when I was pregnant with my second baby, I desperately wanted more time with this baby. I wanted the freedom to be able to go out on a date with my husband and not be pinching pennies because we paid $10,000 to go have this child. Like I needed the freedom that this business provided. And I love you. Like I love hanging out with you. We have a ton of fun. We don't stop laughing. I watch you on social media all the time. I'm a total creeper. And I just wanted to know if maybe you thought about doing something like what I do from home. See, to me, that is way more organic in me than like going and talking about vitamins. I love leading with the business, falling back on products. So, who do you need to go message that you have totally been avoiding? Who do you really feel like would be really good at this? Or maybe they actually need this. That is a big one for me. And Allison, you were talking about being afraid. It's like, hey, I I just want to be a blessing. Really, I don't want anybody to do this that doesn't need this or want this. But if you need this or want this, then I want to go help you. And that is really where my confidence comes from. I look at some of my jewels. I can kind of go through those with you guys if you want. My senior ruby level ones and jewels, just so that you can see how I've recruited some of these girls. So one of them was from a referral from my sister. She said that she had PCOS. So I was like, hey, you need to come to this event with me. And I got her to an event. Now that was the first exposure she ever had with Plexus was Super Saturday. It was my first one. I had no idea what it was. And she got there and she was like, this is like a business conference. I thought we were talking about like bras. I didn't know what this was. Sorry. And so it was really bad. She actually got up and left halfway through. And I like chased her out. I'm not kidding you. I chased her out of the building and I called her after and I was like, hey, so what'd you think? Anyway, it was really awkward. But she was one of my first jewels. So don't be worried to mess this up. Her name is Chandler Sanderson, in case you all know her. That's how I met her. And then another one was a referral from my mom. She coached with her. She knew that she wanted to stay home. And so she said, hey, I have a friend who wants to stay home with her babies a little bit more. And so I said, hey, I messaged her and said, hey, can I call you? I literally just called her and we talked and she was in, she was ready. She was good to go. First call. That was not like a normal situation of like exposure process though. And then I have another girl that I actually tried to get to do this with me for years, you guys. I go back and look and I had messaged her things like, hey, I'm in Hawaii. I'm thinking about you because I know you could do this. You could probably do it faster than I could. We would have a ton of fun together. Like I'm just putting a bug in your ear. I know I just want you to know that you're not allowed to join any other company before you talk to me. And I would message her things like that, or hey, I just got off of a team call with another crunchy mom. She totally had a kid in a bathtub, and I was like, wow, that reminds me of my friend. And I feel like you would love our community, right? Like I would do these drips all the time. I was constantly talking to her on social media, making sure she saw my stuff, also just because I like to talk to her and she's my friend. But I would send her things like that all the time. And finally, one day she was willing to at least try, like she was at least ready to try samples. And that's another thing, you guys. How often are you sending samples to your dream team of girls? How often do you send hold on, where did it go? You know those like wellness? Oh, here they are. I don't know if y'all still have these. I have these. I found them the other day. These like wellness magazines that they sent out. I think you can still get these online, but how often do you get something like this and like put sticky notes in it and be like, hey, you need to read this, or hey, read this story, or like highlight stuff for them. Especially if y'all are in one of these. Like if you have where your face is in it, could you hit a rank? Like, how cool would that be? Like, hey, this is me. You could and then put like a picture of them beside it and be like, hey, this is you. I mean, just be yourself. Like go cast vision for them. And this is one way. So I love to send things like one of these with like notes in it, with samples in it, and be like, hey, like you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Let me know when this comes in. I'm dying to get you to like fall in love with these products because I'm also dying to get you to do this business. There is a drip process to this. So if you are posting about the business and you are messaging for the business, you guys, how often does it take multiple different contacts before someone starts a products with you? Oftentimes it takes like a lot. Like it took me 2 years to start products. with my sponsor, and she did not let me, like, I literally had at least 4 or 5 other girls messaging me at the same time, and she did not ever stop messaging me. And I was kind of annoyed until I wasn't, and then I needed it, and I was really glad she was still messaging me. But it takes sometimes an exposure process of them, yeah, 13 times. So my suggestion is, if somebody tells you no to the business, right, just read it as they don't need it right now, because they might later. I didn't need it until we had a second baby. And I was like, wow, I do not want to drop this baby off at daycare every single day. I refuse to miss out on the first year of this baby's life, until my dad got really sick and they denied me PTO to go see him. I did not need this business until I needed this business. So do not quit on someone just because it might feel a little uncomfortable to have to follow up with them. Yeah, timing is totally everything here. So continue to drip. And it doesn't mean you're sending a cold message every time. It could be like, hey, listen, I know you said you weren't interested, just checking in to see if you've thought about doing this anymore, because we've got this call tonight. It's just sharing all about the business, what it is, what it isn't. I just thought this might be a good way for you to just see what this is. Zero pressure if you are busy or if this is not something you want. But if it is something you are thinking about or you need, then I want to help. That is all we are doing here, y'all. We are helping. We are sharing the business with people, just like we share their products, because this business actually changes the trajectory of people's lives. It actually took my husband from being in a job he hated to a job that he thrives in because of the financial blessing of Flexes. It took me from being in an office 50 to 6 hours a week working for surgeons to being at home braless most of the time with 2 little humans, one of which who isn't sleeping. I cannot imagine working a 9 to 5 right now on the amount of sleep that I'm getting. Like, I literally cannot. The Lord knew what I could handle, and that would not have been possible. So I just want y'all to come at messaging people with a heart of, this is not about us. And if we are making it about us, then we're going to be scared. If we're making it about our feelings, our fear, our team, our points, it's going to feel awkward. But if you make it about them, their needs, is this a good time? Is this something they need? Will this help their family? Then it becomes a lot less awkward. And that is why I can make it. That's why it sounds natural coming out of my mouth, because I have practiced this so many times. And if it feels awkward, that is normal, because the more you do it, the less awkward it'll feel. Just like anything else. I walked into the gym today, and the first time I went in there, I literally looked like I was scared. All these beefcake dudes in there. Like, I grew up and I was a college athlete. Like, I'm comfortable in a gym. I walked in that gym and these dudes are massive. These girls have like bras on and nothing else. And I'm over here in my oversized t-shirt and my dingy white tennis shoes. And I was like, wow, okay, I don't know where any of these machines are. I feel way uncomfortable. But I walked in today after a month and I felt comfortable. I felt good. I felt like I knew the machines. I like beeline for the machine that I knew I wanted. And I felt way more at ease, right? And that's how you're going to feel when you start doing these messages. The more you do, the more you make it about them, the more you read other people's messages, get the inspiration from how they're saying things, keywords here and there, the less uncomfortable it's going to feel. And the more you do it, the more people you're going to have with silver, the more your points are going to grow. Y'all, silver is the best retention strategy. And I will say that till the day I die, because I don't like customer care. Who loves customer care? Do you love sitting down doing customer care? Okay, good. I mean, if you do, I love that for you. I do not. But what I have found is that if I want to help somebody actually stay here for the long haul, I got to help them get silver. And so that looks like me asking things like, hey, do you want to get your products paid for? Hey, you got a free reset code. Like, the free reset code you got last month? You actually have one this month. Who do you want to share it with? A lot of people are sharing it with their husband or their best friend or their mom. Who do you feel like would love it? So you got to get bold with asking really good questions. You got to start talking about this a whole lot, you guys, not just once, not just twice a week, multiple times in your stories on your Facebook. You've got to send messages about it in a question like, have you ever thought about doing something like what I do from home? Would extra income be a blessing for you guys? Compliment them. That is something, I don't know if I said this earlier, but I personally love to compliment them and tell them why I'm reaching out to them because it makes it more organic. So, do y'all have any questions about messaging, the drip, posting, leading with the business, any of that? I feel like I bounced around a ton, but I'm here for any and all questions, and there's no stupid questions.
Hey, Jordan, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm sure they are thinking this. What does a business message look like for you? Obviously not scripted, but like, what is like the format that you would like, if you're like, here, send this or do this, like, because I know that that's probably what they're thinking. Like, okay, what does a business message look like, or the structure?
Yeah, I'll just read you one really fast. All right. I went to this one message and I somehow think I deleted. I don't know how I would have deleted this in here, but I think I did. Anyway, I know this one girl that I messaged, I said something like, hey, listen, you're a mom, I'm a mom. This, I literally don't think I would not do plexus, or oh my gosh, I would not do life well without plexus. I have tons of kids, you see them on Instagram, and honestly, this really just keeps me going. Not to mention, it's helped my stomach a ton. Have you ever seen anything that I've posted that has caught your eye? I haven't seen that you've been struggling with anything. Oh my gosh, that was a product. That was a product one. Go back, rewind. Okay, so if it was a business one, I might say something like, "Hey, listen, I hate when people try and just get in my DMs and try and sell me on something, and I'm not about that. But I just want to tell you up front, this is a plexus message, and I'm telling you that because I have watched you for over a year. I sent a message very similar to this to my friend, by the way. I have watched you for over a year. I see how fun your family is. I know that we would personally, Zach and I would love to travel more with y'all. And I just know that you would be really good at what I do. And I know you're a nurse. I have no idea what your workload is like or if this is something you love, but I had to come to you and at least tell you I think you'd be really good at what I do. And I think you would have a lot of fun with it. Have you ever considered doing something like what I do from home? And so I'm just really honest with them. I tell them why I'm messaging them. I kind of plug in like how this has helped me. And then I ask a question. Oh my gosh. You might be a mama four if you start with a product message and then end with so that's an example. And I can send y'all some screenshots too, but yeah, that's kind of my flow. I just say exactly what comes to mind.
So what happens if they're like, no, thanks, but it's not for me? Or I don't do MLMs. What would you overcome those with?
Yeah, I usually just put like a little like laughing GIF or something that's like snickering, and I'm like, that's really funny because I said the exact same thing until I needed something from home, until I saw my friends making millions of dollars, and I was like, maybe I'm wrong. So just letting you know when and if you change your mind, holler at me because I will be here.
Leave it in their court, but kind of like a
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
like
and then
try
I
to
keep
be.
commenting on their stuff, and then maybe eventually be like, "Hey, I remember how you said you don't do MLMs." My friend, who actually was very anti, actually joined Plexus, and she's doing really well, and she's sharing about her experience tonight on an opportunity call. I just had to come to you and say, "Hey, like, is that something you'd want to listen into?" Dripping, yes. Always a drip. I actually did a video. It's very, very short. It's on my YouTube channel about dripping because I'm very passionate about this because I always take a no as a not right now. Always. Like they you tell me no, and it's like a game. And I will win this game. My poor husband.
Melissa Eichenhorst always says, she's like, if they still have a heartbeat, honey, I'm following up with them. And I'm like,
Yes. You never know. You never know.
yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
else? What else do you want to know or have questions about? Or maybe it's something you're going through right now and you want help with it. Brianna?
So I I think like a lot of the girls, like what I'm seeing on my team is like I think they're not dripping it as soon as the people get signed up, or they're not mentioning it in the like recruiting process. And then it's like they're like, oh, I've got to go back now. And sometimes it's hard to go back. It's possible, but like if you're recruiting for the products, or like, are you immediately talking about the business, or when do you bring that in?
Yeah, I mean, if it's somebody that I really feel like would be good at this, I'm mentioning up at front, and I might say something to them like, um, there's one girl, for example, she's about a month in, and I just messaged her the other day, and I was like, hey, I'm secretly hoping and praying I'm going to force you into loving these products because I really want you to do this business with me. So I just want you to know that I'm going to help you with all your product stuff, and I will be back to ask if you want me to help you get your products paid for in a couple months. And so I just am constantly plugging in drips of the business, drips of belief. Because people do not know how much money we make. They do not believe that they could do anything out of their comfort zone. And it takes us giving them a little bit of that courage boost. And also to just like think about it, like, oh, maybe I could do that. It just kind of like leaves a little seed, and then I'm just planting more. So yeah, if I don't do it at the beginning, I will eventually come back to them. It is harder though. It is harder to do that. I feel. And I personally really like to invite people to stuff. So if you guys, like I know they have those Sunday night opportunity calls. We do our own. You could run your own. Like let's say Allie and Brianna both have one girl that need to get on an op call. Y'all get together and just be like, hey, we're gonna have two people on an op call and it's gonna be great. Let's do it. Like you do not have to have a massive team or a Zoom full of people to do these. In fact, sometimes those are the best. You could just sit there and be like, hey, like, have you ever thought about doing this? Or what would an extra $500 be do for your family, you know? And it could be more personal, almost like a phone call at that point. So just don't be weird. Just don't be just be yourself.
I think the most important part here, like that's what's coming to mind, is like Andrea said in the chat, it's confidence and there's boldness, but it's not beating around the bush. Because I think when you're like shy about things and you like beat around the bush, people smell that from a mile away, and then they can tell that you're not confident in what you have to offer. And then that's when it becomes weird.
Yeah. I mean, it would be like if you had a favorite restaurant and you heard somebody beside you going, gosh, I really, really can't figure out where to go to eat. And you're like, go to Casa Brava. And they're like, what? And you're like, go to Casa Brava. Like, how awkward. Don't be weird. Just be like, hey, listen, I have a restaurant that I love. You need to go to this place. It is so good. When you get done, you need to tell me how it was. And like, you can thank me later, you know? So don't be weird. Just help people. What else?
Have you always been bold with this? I'm assuming not. So like, is there a book you read that was like a switch, or like, what do you think was
Yeah.
the turning point in that boldness of your ask and confidence?
So some of y'all may not know this. So I started in 2016. No, 2017. Can't remember what year. I created my account and I started posting because I just thought that's what people did because I follow Jessica Heffley and Tamara and Chris and Casey and all these girls, and that's what they did. So I literally just made a few posts and they were totally not me. They were copy paste posts and they were a flop. I signed no one. I posted off and on for a month, signed no one. So I stopped posting for a whole year after that. And I just took my products very inconsistently, by the way. And my sponsor knew I had my babies, and I can't remember if she came back to me or maybe it was just I had just seen like convention. I don't remember what happened. I got the bug, And so what helped me honestly was shutting my back door. I decided, hey, I'm actually going to do this. It really increased my confidence. And then I started becoming a walking, talking YouTube channel. I dove into Tamara Holloway, Jessica Heffley, Brooke Hemingway. Y'all, those OG girls, their videos are still very relevant to what we do. And they are multiple star diamonds. Like, I am not too prideful to say that I am what I am because I am a prodigy of watching them. And so I became more confident. My belief got bigger that this was actually a real opportunity. And I watched diamond documentaries every day. I'm not kidding y'all. I would watch one almost every day. And I just got really clear on what I wanted, and it gave me confidence because I knew where I was going. So gosh, vision really is so important. And I also, I don't know about you guys, but I remember seeing girls like Celeste and Suzanne on stage, and they were in their like perfect like cocktail like type dresses with their big earrings, and I kind of was not being myself when I started. I thought that I had to fit a mold. And then I quickly realized that the more myself I am, the cooler I am. So I think another piece of that is I just started being myself in every message. I started posting just like me. I started posting the weird things that our big kids say. I started just being myself on social media in person, and it flowed into my messages. And so I think getting comfortable in my own skin was a big part of that, and just not living in this like fear of shame, I'm not good enough, I gotta look a certain way, and I started being myself. And so yeah, I think that was really helpful. And then also I just started practicing. I practiced a ton. I would make 100-person lists, and I would message them all within a few months, sometimes in just a month. And so practice, confidence came from just being myself, and then also building up my belief, my vision, for sure.
I have one more question. Sorry. So
Yeah.
how do you fill your funnel? Like,
Yeah. So posting, how many times do y'all post a day? Do y'all post once a day, every other day? How often do y'all post? Or Allie, how often do you post?
definitely once a day. Trying to do actually more for engagement. So like 2
Yeah.
posts a day.
Yeah. So I fill my funnel. Some people would move. I really do think that you can turn any situation into a victor moment, not a victim moment. I truly believe that. And so we have moved every 2 years for 10 years. And so some people would say, oh, I've moved every 2 years and 10 years. I don't have community. I feel like I've been isolated. I don't have friends. But I have turned that into, okay, I move every 2 years for 10 years, and I'm going to create community in every single new place that we've gone. So that's been really helpful for me. I do share my stories often, lots of non-plexus content to try and entertain people, chaos of our life. And I also post a ton, but I fill my funnel. I'm going to take you back to not my reentry account, because I feel like I'm running this one a little bit differently. But before we went diamond, I was messaging a lot of people, like a lot. And if I didn't have someone to message, I was going into local mom groups. I was adding friends there. I was going to my mom's page and adding her friends. I was asking people for referrals, which 2 of my jewels were referrals, y'all. And one of my other jewels I found on a Facebook group, another one I found on Instagram. One of my brand new senior rubies was this girl. I asked if she wanted samples at church because she was drinking an energy drink. And I said, hey, do you want to try my natural version? And she said, sure. And so I gave it to her, and she said it sucked and she hated it. And then she ended up joining a few months later. And now she's senior Ruby. And so I am just relentless. When you focus on, hey, I need to fill my funnel, you start getting really creative with ways to do that. So yeah, local Facebook groups is a really great place to start connecting. I purposely walk to school right now, to my kids' school, so that I can meet people every day to pick them up. And so I'm just really intentional with it, to be honest. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, wait, I have something to add too, is like another thing that I tell them is like to go, like if your kids are like on a soccer team, or like you are like in a neighborhood and your neighborhood doesn't have like a mom's group, like start something like that. Start like a soccer team mom chat where you're like, hey, like snacks or whatever, like
Yeah.
anything like that can like totally, I mean, a mom's a walking group, like, you know, like anything like that is like going to get people into your social media account and they're going to be able to see and you're going to be able to interact. And I guess like you said, like I say, taking the long way around, walking your kids to school instead of driving them, like maybe going to that extra activity that you don't really want to go to, but you're going just to meet people. It's like you have to put a little bit of effort into doing things that you probably normally wouldn't do to meet different people. I mean, to meet more people.
Yeah, and I look at girls like Trisha Rigger. She's like doesn't it, to me it doesn't look like she leaves her house. She's amazing, but she's like a homebody, right? And so I see her just really working it on Instagram, right? That's not how I'm building my funnel, but there's no one way to do this, which is I'm really grateful for. I am more extroverted, and so I'm game to do a lot of that. Anyway,
I love that. Wait, I have a question too. Sorry. Okay,
do
so
not apologize.
okay. Well, I know I want to respect your time. So when you
No,
have to
you're good.
just hop off. But okay, so one question is you take someone, you sign them up. Tell us the process of what you do to get them to silver, senior silver, gold. Like just what that looks like for you. Because I want them to see what that looks like and what you're doing. And sometimes it's like rinse, wash, and repeat of the same things. But I want that you to tell them kind of what you do.
Yeah, I looked the other day. I think I have had developed over 30 level one golds. And so, but y'all, not everybody is going to be the same system every time. Some people have a little more influence than others. Some people come into this and it's a little easier for them. They're more natural at doing uncomfortable things. And so, anyway, let's just the generic system is when somebody says, "Hey, I'm interested in what you're doing," or I message them and say, "Hey, are you interested?" And they say yes. I say, "Okay, cool. When can I call you? Can I call you at lunchtime or can I call you after dinner?" And they give me a time. I give them two times. And then we get on the phone and I just ask, again, I'm not making this about me, my business, my team. I'm making it about them. And I ask them questions like, hey, tell me what an extra 500, what $1,000 would do for your family. Tell me what problems this might solve for you. What's going on that's causing you to want to look into something like this. And then I always ask the question, can I just show you what it might be like if you started, what your first 90 days would look like? And they're always like, yeah, that would be great. So I just explain that I'm going to help them post on social media. I am going to help them message a few friends and family. We're going to make a list, and some of those people are going to be liking and commenting on your stuff, and it's going to be super easy to message them. And others, we're just going to go to them. We're just going to message them, and you're going to have me there coaching you, holding your hand the whole time. And they're like, okay. I'm like, and I always ask the question, are you nervous? Are you excited? Or are you both? You're always like, I'm both. That's great. Keep going. Um, and then I really like to help them kind of build a foundation of product knowledge because our products really are incredible. And so I always show them how to use our group, how to search for info sheets, just so they can have just like this base. Like I remember when I started, I would literally screenshot a little piece of the triplex info sheet and be like, hey, I don't know the answer. Let me go look. And then I would screenshot it to them, right? So just so they feel a little more confident. Um, and so a lot of the times on this call, I will say, hey, can I help you make your first post while we're on the call? And a lot of the time, if they're already signed up, they'll say yes. And so I help them typically when I ask them like what they're loving about their products, if they've already been on them for just a minute, I'm typing on my phone in my notes and I'm actually writing their first post for them as they're telling me what they're loving. So then whenever they tell me yes, I'm like, okay, cool. I actually have some notes for you and you can use these for your first post. You have a picture you love of yourself? And yes or no. And I'm like, okay, well, turn your camera around and go take one. And then they make their first post and I help them message people from their posts. And then we immediately do three-way messages. Um, and so silver to me, I'm not sending like a ton of videos and all the things. We do have like a getting started video that's on the top of our team page. And if somebody's like in it, they're like, yes, I want to be diamond, then I will tag them in that. But if it's a casual silver, like you don't know if they want a business yet, that's just what I do. Help them post, help them send their first messages. And then I really do love events. I love being able to invite people to stuff. And so sometimes we started doing chat events. I don't know that I love chat events. Maybe I'm just not as cool as some of y'all, but I love Facebook events, like old school ones. And so we set up an event, and sometimes they're great and sometimes they're not. And that's okay too. The girl that I was talking about, Rebecca, who just went basically fast start at Senior Ruby, we did an event for her and it didn't go great. But she still went fast start silver or Senior Ruby. So yeah, I just keep it very simple, very basic. I hold their hand, help them do the next step. And then once they go silver, I might say something like, "Hey, can I help you look at your next income bracket?" And then I show them the income chart and they're like, "Yeah, let's do that." I'm like, "Okay, great. Here's your next step." So anyway, that's my first steps to silver. Post, message, three-way message. And then make sure you're vision casting in the process, y'all. Like, I really think that is so, my girl, Rebecca, I keep talking about her just because it's fresh, but I asked her, what was the best thing I did for you? And she said, honestly, every single step, like every other day, I was saying, "Hey, you got this," or sending her a quote, or sending her a song, or just reminding her that she could do this, or sending her a diamond dot. And so just remember to do those little vision casting steps along the way. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted. I mean, does that sound familiar, you guys? It's like,
It's probably exactly what y'all do.
yeah, we share pretty much the same system.
Yeah.
But and I love that you said like you're sending fun song, like you're making it fun and you're building a connection with them. And it's not just like it is business to
System.
business, but it is like you're like sending them fun things. You're like building this like funny, I don't know, like it's just a good
Yeah.
relationship. And I think like having those videos too to send is just like super key too. Like if they're going through something, you send them this video, or you send them like a funny song or whatever it may be, and asking them, how's everything going? Like whatever, I don't know. Just asking the good questions, I think is like super important. And like you said, showing them that income for the next step is always like super crucial. Like we all have the March or the April earning like all those little tiny things, you can just send that to them and be like, here's your next income. Like this is what you can earn.
Yeah.
For it. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yes.
You guys
You're
have any
welcome.
questions for Jordan before she goes?
All right, I put it in the chat because I knew you all were talking about like, what's your favorite tip to give like golds on your team? Because I know that's like the muck, the swamp, like hard part of their business. And so like, what's your favorite like inspo or tip or anything to give them?
Yeah, I think the gold is I think a lot of people get to gold, we get to gold with recruiting and retention, and they have not touched the duplication and leadership pillars. And so it is truly diving into the other two pillars of this business. The pillars are recruiting, retention, duplication, and leadership. And the duplication and leadership part does not come as natural. And so you are going to feel like you are sitting in a bathtub with the water on and the plug is undone and it just goes in, out, and there's no point raised. And I see this about at 130 points or so. People get to about 130, and then it is like, you can't do this on your own. And you can't. And so it really is, there's a shift a lot of the times. It's like, okay, you have to be a leader, which might take a little more time. So it's putting on your business hat instead of your hobby hat. And it really is all about duplication. And there's a girl named Jordan Gibson on my team. And I remember she got, I can't remember the exact points, but she got past gold. And I just remember being like, you can do this. Once you start duplicating, it's going to be fun. Once you start duplicating, you're going to feel more free. Once you start duplicating, it's going to feel like you know what you're doing. You're going to have a team to lead. And she was so excited. And so I really think if you are gold on this call, one, you have to start duplicating. You've got to start failing forward in that area, get way uncomfortable, start asking the questions. Do you want to get your products paid for? Sending the business reach outs, really give this vision of this business. Number two, I will ask you, are you committed to your business? Because if you are not committed to your business, then you're not going to want to do these scary things. And I promise you want to do the scary things because that's where the freedom is. That's where the trips are. That's where you go on vacation and you make money while you're away, right? Like it is there. You want to do this. It is actually easier to commit and do this business than it is to not commit and feel stuck. The feelings are way better. They're way cooler. They're way more joy-filled, happy. And so it's duplication. It is 100% duplication and taking ownership. Mm-hmm.
Amen to that. That is so true. And like you said, it makes your business so much more fun when you've got someone to do it with you. And I tell them, and you can reiterate this, is like, just keep trying. Like, I know a lot of them will say, well, I don't have anybody that wants to share right now, but you're going to. And that's why you're asking every single time when you're on the phone. I tell them phone call, we're old school. I'm like literally like on the phone because you're making that connection with them. Like you're being able to talk to them and showing them that you're real and just asking every single time, because the worst thing that they're saying, and plus like Jordan said, you're planting that seed. So like if you never say, hey, do you want to get your products paid for? Maybe they don't know enough right now, but you're going to keep dripping that on them. And when you ask again, how are you loving your products? What have you seen? They're going to tell you, like, hey, let's make a post, like constantly dripping. Because how many of us, I mean, it took my sponsor forever to get me to do the products, right? And it's like, thank God she didn't give up on me, because I wouldn't be here. And just like everybody else in your back office, in your friends' social media, like one person is looking for you not to give up on them, truly. Even if they feel resistant, like one person is looking for you not to give up on them. And so, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I didn't find any of my jewels or level 1 senior rubies. None of them. I had 4 level 1 jewels, 2 level 1 senior rubies. I found all of them after I went senior ruby.
Isn't that crazy, you guys? See, isn't that nuts? Like, and I remember like, when did you go to Emerald, Jordan?
Like 2018.
Yeah, because I went Emerald 2019. I remember like just watching a video. Well, Jordan actually helped me create our system, that video with Genevieve. I just remember being like, I gotta create something. I remember watching that video and rewinding and like just like basically copying and putting my spin on your like system. And I feel
Yeah.
like it works, and it's just, you have to just be able to get messy and try things. And you
Yes.
don't need and you can tell them, you don't need a bazillion people working. You just need a couple quality people who are sold on the business and Plexus and you and the community. And then that's when you go and create all your little like pockets of people, and you're creating silvers. And that's truly how you get to diamond. Like, just create.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think I will leave y'all with this. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. And so if you are terribly afraid to message someone for the business because maybe they'll think something of you, or maybe it seems scary, or maybe you're helping somebody to silver and you feel like you're fumbling, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. If they want this, all the tools are there. Everything they need. Like you wouldn't even have to be in the picture and they could probably go silver just by your being in your team threads and in your team page. So just know, remove that like heaviness off and just go have some fun. Them, help them, guide them, listen to them, ask good questions. Yeah, I love that. I love that quote. So anyway, that is my suggestion for y'all. It's just to go get really, really, really familiar with asking these questions and making these business asks, because it's gonna be way more fun. Now we're gonna have so much more fun. When nobody wants to be in Hawaii by themselves, you want a team with you.
Yeah.
I promise you. I went by myself for the first year, and I said I will never do that again.
Wow.
So
Same. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you,
you're
Jordan.
welcome.
We love you so much. And I appreciate you taking time after your date night to come and share with us.
It was great. Y'all want more date nights. Go make more money so you can take more date nights. Jesus loves when you date your husband. Okay. So if anything, that's how. And then you have more babies.
that?
Yeah. Yeah. And with that. Oh my gosh. Then you have more kids. And it's like, I really have to go diamond now. Okay. Thank y'all.
Love you.
Thanks for letting me hang with y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, you guys. Bye. Wasn't that so good? Thank you guys for sticking on, and I'll have the recording up soon so we can all go back and rewatch and take notes again. So yeah, I'll have that up and loaded literally tonight. I'll do it tonight. Okay. Bye, guys.